It's a parent's worst nightmare. A young child disappearing while on a family vacation in a picturesque resort town. For 18 years, the mystery of what happened to Madeleine McCann has never been solved.
Madeleine McCann's disappearance rates with the Lindbergh baby as, the disappearance of a child that has caught the public's imagination for these many, many years. I think we will always wonder what happened to her.
The distraught parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, pleading for help to find their daughter. Their story sympathetic to so many and creating an outpouring of support.
It's been much, much greater than we could ever possibly have imagined, and we've had a huge amount of public support and goodwill.
To this day, nothing, no body has ever been found, no confirmed sightings. But just this week, renewed hope for answers as a massive search effort launched in the area where Madeleine went missing all those years ago. The case struck a nerve from the very beginning. The story instantly became a media frenzy, covered in the news around the world. From ITV.
The Portuguese police have been searching throughout the day.
And Sky News.
We're just hearing that a search is underway for a 3-year-old British girl.
To ABC News Australia years later.
This is how she might look today.
Celebrities like David Beckham got involved, making a Spanish TV appearance to plead for help.
If you have seen this little girl.
The McCanns even met the then Pope, who blessed Madeleine's picture.
Within days of Madeleine's disappearance, her family orchestrated a campaign to find her. Thousands of leads poured in, and those leads still continue to come in.
Madeleine's parents speaking to GMA in 2011.
All I can say is how much that I love Madeleine. We both love our children dearly, and there was no way we'd ever have put them at risk.
ABC News reached out to the McCanns, but did not hear back. For days, teams of German and Portuguese authorities using ground-penetrating radar, telling ABC News they're focusing on multiple sites around a home where a man German investigators are calling a suspect used to stay. The search taking on a new urgency as that suspect, Christian Bruckner, could be released from jail in the fall. A convicted child sex offender, he's currently behind bars for the rape of a 72-year-old American woman. Bruckner denies all allegations against him and has not been charged in Madeleine's case and says he has nothing to do with her disappearance.
In 2020, he is their primary suspect. Why did it take anybody this long to develop a suspect that has a history and convictions of child sexual abuse that lived very close to the Ocean Club where the McCanns were staying?
The search area stretching to this abandoned farmhouse, about a 10-minute drive away from the resort where a then 3-year-old Madeleine mysteriously vanished 18 years ago in Praia da Luz. Officials draining a well in the area and focusing on other abandoned houses.
The problem, obviously, in doing searches 18 years after somebody disappears is genetic material probably has disappeared if it was ever there.
The last major search for Madeleine was in 2023 off a tip from German police about Bruckner. Divers searching a reservoir 30 miles from where Madeleine went missing. Sniffer dogs on site as police comb through the land around the site covered in dense scrub.
The Germans are following trails that have been there since 2008 and were not followed to their logical conclusions. There have been so many lost opportunities in this case, and that's a tragedy.
It all began on May 3rd, 2007. 3-year-old Madeleine's parents, Kate and Jerry, both doctors from Britain, had come to Praia da Luz, Portugal with Maddie and her younger twin siblings for a week's vacation with friends. The couple left their children in the apartment at the resort while they dined with friends in a nearby restaurant. When they returned less than 2 hours later, Madeleine was gone. Madeleine's mother telling BBC Crime Watch what she discovered that fateful night.
I guess I was looking at Madeleine's bed and I couldn't make her out. And then I realised actually she's not in that bed. And I thought, I wonder if she's woken up, gone through to our bed. She wasn't in our bed. And that was the first time where I guess, a panic kicked in.
Her princess blanket and her pink cuddle cat toy were all that were left behind.
Apart from the size and the button at the back, which Madeleine's doesn't have, these are actually the pyjamas that Madeleine was wearing when she was taken.
There are a number of things you absolutely have to do immediately when children of a tender age, like Madeleine, disappear. And it strikes me little or none of those were done immediately.
Around 8:30 p.m., the McCanns say they went down to a tapas area for dinner. Just after 9, Jerry said he goes to check on the kids, who were all asleep. By 9:30, a friend of the McCanns says he checked on the children and everything was fine. But around 10, Kate returns to the apartment and realizes that Madeleine is missing.
We know now that at about the same time, at about 10 o'clock, some 7 or 8 people spotted a man carrying a little girl wearing pajamas that resembled those that Madeleine was wearing, who was sleeping on his shoulder. Was that Madeleine? Was that the abductor? It has been a matter of intense scrutiny by the police for this last 18-year period.
Other witnesses had also reported a suspicious man or men hanging around outside the door of the apartment. But public outcry was swift against the parents. Kate McCann talking about it on The Oprah Winfrey Show.
I'm sure you have beaten yourself up many times over that.
You know, I can persecute myself every day about that, and I feel awful that we weren't there.
Media outlets at the time reporting that the McCanns quickly came under suspicion by the Portuguese police.
Kate McCann is expected to be formally declared a suspect over her daughter's disappearance.
Ultimately, the McCanns were ruled out as suspects. Scotland Yard telling Sky News about that exoneration.
Neither her parents or any of the members of the group that were with her are either persons of interest or suspects. They are parents who have lost their daughter, and we're doing all that we can to bring resolution for them to find out what has happened to Madeleine.
The family said they had to take matters into their own hands.
So we've had to get our own team of investigators, and obviously we have to fund that ourselves.
And telling Sky TV that it was all in an effort to keep Madeleine's name alive.
Whatever anyone thinks of our actions, ultimately, and our only focus is trying to find Madeleine. And, there's an innocent child missing. That's, what anyone thinks, that's the key thing. Madeleine is missing.
Every year, year upon year, they commemorate Madeleine's life. They remind the world that she is still loved and still missing through their website, the Find Madeleine website.
Years after she went missing, police shared this computer-generated image of what Madeleine would look like as a 9-year-old child.
Madeleine would be 22 today. That's a very long time to have lived without your daughter.
After this multi-day effort, police announcing today they've ended their search and have not uncovered any new evidence.
If there's any positive light that could ever be shown on a case like this, is that it did raise awareness of when kids disappear, what you should do, as a parent, and what the police should do immediately after they learn that a child has disappeared.
For Kate and Jerry, finding Madeleine has been the hope that keeps them going.
I think if you dwell on guilt like this and things that you can't change, they really can eat you up and destroy you. And what we've tried hard to do is focus on what can still be done to find Madeleine.